Good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Morning Devotion. That's right. It's day 900 of Morning Devotion. To start off, let's offer a greeting about our Heavenly Parents and true parents. 천진 참부모님께 경배, 바로. And now to lead us through the family pledge, I'd like to invite up Reverend Milhan Stevens.
가정맹세 1. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 중심, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇族권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 처녀급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 처녀급 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Thank you, Reverend Milhan Stevens. And now to open us up in prayer, I'd like to invite up Pastor Barbara Robertson. Pastor Barbara Robertson.
Morning. Please join me in prayer. Good morning, O most loving Heavenly Parent. As the warm weather has washed over New York and we feel our spirits waking up from the winter slumber, we just want to feel your love and hear your words this morning, to fill our bodies with your truth and your energy. We're so grateful for Dr. Yong for 900 days of morning devotion. So grateful to President Narakimi for leading our nation through the pandemic and into this time where we can really be people who save this world, Heavenly Parent. And we just thank you for all the brothers and sisters on this call this morning, for Resfred, for leading in us as an MC. We really pray that we can open our hearts and our minds to receive your word. We pray for our true mother, that she might feel our love, she might feel our unity, that she might feel our support, that she might feel that she might be able to share her heart with us and share everything she has on her mind with us, that we can receive anything she has to say because she is our true mother, the mother of all humankind, the only begotten daughter, the true parents of heaven and earth. And we are so grateful for her. We pray for her protection, for her health, and that all the issues that need to be resolved can quickly be resolved, and we can come together as one family under God. I offer this prayer in my name, in the names of all the brothers and sisters gathered here, Andrew and Barbara Robertson, a Blessed Central family. True.
아주 thank you, Barbara Robertson, for your very much filial prayer. 감사합니다. Thank
네.
you.
Thank you, Pastor Barbara, for such a beautiful prayer. And now we're going to go into our breakout. So just take a moment to think about what you are grateful for this morning. Share with whoever you're paired up with, and we'll be back here to share with everyone else. We'll see you all soon. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a wonderful sharing your breakout. First I'd like to call on Kyoko Bowman. Kyoko Bowman, if you could please unmute and share with us your gratitude points this morning.
My gratitude is that today is a day of 900, the morning devotion. I'm so grateful to Dr. Yong and the brothers and sisters who are attending for this 900 days. Every time 40 days are over, I can feel some shifted and different level of spiritual things. So I'm wondering what would be happening this 900 days over. That's one of the gratitude. Also, I'm very grateful I can receive children and the grandchildren in my life. Of course, it is not so easy sometimes. However, most grateful and happiness come from them. So I'm so grateful I had the children. Also, I'm grateful my husband is a challenge, is a spouse daily. However, we have still has a person to challenge too. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyoko Bowman. I really deeply appreciate you, even though you're physically not much healthy, but really fighting with your physical limitation, put your effort doing PR and witnessing and attending morning devotion. When I see you, I really so moved by your such kind of incredible effort. You are really doing almost your best. I really appreciate you, Kyoko Bowman. I can feel it. Really, I can feel it. Putting your effort. Thank you so much, Kyoko-san. 감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you, Kyoko-san, sharing with us your gratitude. Next, I'd like to call on Yuji and Michiko Yokoyama to share with us their gratitude as well.
I'm grateful that yesterday our witnessing director of Capital Family Church, Robert Abendros, visited George Mason University campus, and we had an appointment with one student. He just attended one-day workshop the other day, so we wanted to encourage him to go to 7-day workshop.
Wow, beautiful.
But unfortunately, his schedule is not available that time. But I am very grateful that we had a nice conversation with him. And I appreciate this Robert couple. Robert and Tomomi Abendros couple just started 40-day prayer condition for the success of a 7-day workshop. Which is going to be May 21st to 27th. So I am very grateful to this couple. Thank you.
Michiko-san, Yuji-sama.
Yeah, we started campus witnessing April last year. So it's about 1 year. And every week, once a week, we have gone to the campus together with my wife and reach out, younger generation, young people. And through that, our spirit really kind of revived and, became young. So without that, maybe, we are kind of stuck with our mindset of, getting old. But, I really feel very grateful for the opportunity to through the give and take with a young student. We feel very young also in our spirit.
That's why your couple become younger and younger and younger. And Yuji and Michiko-san, can you imagine in your such kind of age, really doing witnessing? Even our Omo unification is not so many people like that. I really appreciate Yuji and Michiko. That's why whenever you contact young people, your spirit become more younger. Always so bright. Wow. So God doesn't have no choice, doesn't have a choice. I think he need to bless you to live long life. So thank you very much, Yokoyama couple.
Yeah, thank you, Yuji and Michiko-san, for sharing with us your gratitude. And with that, we're going to go on to our main message today. So let's prepare our hearts and minds to receive it from our beloved Continental Director, Dr. Chonshik Yong.
안녕하세요. Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassador for peace. 안녕하십니까? Today, as many of you know, marks the 900th day since the start of the morning devotion. I sincerely thank all the staff, translators, and the interpreters for their hard work. There are currently more than 30 people who do all the work for this morning devotion. I think more than 30 people, including interpreters for 6 languages. In reality, a lot of money is spent here, but it is operated with your incredible 정성 and offering donation. Thank you so much again to all our brothers and sisters. Without your support, I think we cannot do it. Thank you once again. Yesterday, I had a breakfast with one family. They are Jesse and Noriko Terepre, and their children, Jessup, Noel, and Jericho. She has such beautiful children, even also give away child for other family. Such beautiful. And then Noriko taking care of the babies. Not only that, also take care of the Elizabeth Church as assistant pastor. I really appreciate their great effort. Thank you so much. Okay, let's study through Mother's Word again. Here, let's study.
God's model ideal family and nation and the peace kingdom. Distinguished world leaders, ambassadors for peace, and blessed family members who have come from all parts of the world in hopes of bringing about the realization of world peace and building the ideal hometown in heaven and on earth. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all of you for coming together in the midst of your busy schedules to take part in this rally to expand and elevate the family party for cosmic peace and unification to a global level, so that it may be reborn as the Chanoguk House for Peace and Unification. To make the Universal Peace Federation a model UN-type organization, and to make Chanoguk the cosmic nation of peace and unity through the concerted efforts of all the nations of the world. As you may know, this year marks the 87th year since the birth of my husband, Reverend Moon. On this remarkable occasion, as a co-founder of the Universal Peace Federation, which is to open wide the era after the coming of heaven, I would like to convey to you the essence of the truth of heaven that my husband and I have taught throughout our lives. This message is entitled, God's Model Ideal Family and Nation and the Peace Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, on looking back, Reverend Moon's life has indeed been like a dream. At the young age of 16, with nothing but the buoyant spirit and aspirations of youth, he was called by heaven and began to live for the will of God. This left no room in his heart for any worldly ambitions that he may have cherished. It has never been an easy path, but he has followed it for more than 80 years, looking nowhere but straight ahead. This was the life he was fated to lead, with no choice but to shake off the embrace of his beloved parents and brothers and sisters who clung to him, wanting him to stay with them. They endured great self-sacrifice and walked a thorny path of dreadful suffering for his sake. It has been a journey through the wilderness that no one among the 6.5 billion people living on earth could ever comprehend. Even when he persevered through the hardships of prison life 6 times, he never let go of the key to the providence. Such has been Reverend Moon's life.
Yes, thank you. On looking back at Father's life, his life has indeed been like a dream. At the young age of 16, with nothing but the buoyant spirit and aspiration of youth, he was called by heaven and began to live for the will of God. It has never been an easy path. The father has followed it for more than 93 years, looking nowhere but straight ahead. This was the life he was fated to lead, with no choice but to shake off the embrace of his beloved parents and brothers and sisters who clung to him, wanting him to stay with them. They endured great self-sacrifice and walked a thorny path of dreadful suffering for his sake. When you compare the father's life to your own life, my brothers and sisters, what kind of life have you lived? Was it really a life of a single path, knowing and following the will like true parents? Or was it only a life lived for the sake of yourself or your own family? If we think that our life has not been honorable or was not enough so far, even if it is from now until the moment we die, we need to live a life of doing our best to leave behind a proud, substantial results of love. If our physical bodies do not move, we will rot like a stagnant water that cannot flow. So, as long as we are living and breathing, we must move forward. It must become a life struggling to save even one life. Just now, I was talking about Yuji Yokoyama, even such age, still try to witness and go to the campus as a couple. This kind of commitment is so beautiful. I think God really admires not only about Yokoyama couple. I think now in America, so many senior brothers and sisters, they are doing witnessing on campus. I really, really deeply appreciate that. The reason I am, my brothers and sisters, the reason we are still alive, alive means that we still have a mission to accomplish. Just like true parents say, we must live each day as if it is 1,000 years. As long as we are still alive, that means we have a mission, right? We have a clear mission. That's why we are still alive. We need to know that as long as I breathe, as long as I am alive, I have a mission to accomplish, centering on our heavenly God's wish. After I came to America and start doing morning devotion, today is the 900th day of the morning devotion with you all. I am striving to do my best to live together with you, even if I just one day I live with the mindset that I will invest twice as much as other people. That's why I run in life, thinking that I have to do in one day what other people do in 2 days, what other people have done over 10 years. I run every day with the determination to bring it to you in just 3 to 5 years. That is my really that kind of serious commitment. Living divine principles and God's work of salvation. Let's study EDP first.
God's work of salvation is the providence of restoration. God intended to create a world of goodness and experience from it the utmost joy. Yet due to the human fall, the world came to be filled with sin and sorrow. If this sinful world were to continue forever in its present state, then God would be an impotent and ineffectual God who failed in his creation. Therefore, God will save this sinful world by all means. To save a person suffering under the yoke of sin means to restore him to his original sinless state. Thus, God's work of salvation is the providence of restoration. The human fall was undoubtedly the result of human mistakes. Nevertheless, God also assumed some responsibility for the outcome because it was he who created human beings. God, the eternal subject partner, created us to live eternally because he wanted to share eternal joy with human beings as his object partners. Therefore, God saves fallen people and restores them to the original, pure state in which he initially created them. God's purpose of creation is the establishment of the kingdom of heaven, which in its totality is God's good object partner. The center of God's kingdom on earth is to be human beings. Ever since the fall of the first human ancestors frustrated this will, the primary goal of the providence of restoration has been nothing less than to rebuild the kingdom of heaven on earth. Jesus told his disciples to pray, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." His words testify that the goal of the providence of restoration is the establishment of the kingdom of heaven on earth.
Yes. We are talking about the goal of the providence of restoration, right? Salvation. What is the salvation? We are talking about the 8-stage level salvation from individual, family, tribal, national, and the total world and cosmic salvation, Satan's salvation, finally, God's liberation, right? Yesterday, I spoke about the tribal salvation. Today, we will learn about national salvation based on Father's word. God's plan for salvation. He has very, very clear plan for the entire plan. And then also he has also detailed plan for each one of us. He has very clear plan. That's why we need to unite with his vision and his plan. This is the shortcut way to restore myself, my family, and tribe, and nation, and world. God's plan for salvation, national salvation minimum requirement for substantial kingdom of heaven is one nation, right? And the national salvation means national restoration. National salvation is establishing God's nation. We official name is what? 천일국, right? 천일국. And then in order to restore one nation, need to have 3 elements: land, people, and sovereignty. We have a heavenly sovereignty based on unification thought and divine principle. Land is not so much issue if we have a majority, right? Many of them bless the family. Many of them follow true parents. As long as we secure majority, we can get the land, not the issue. That's why now the main issue is how to get majority. To get the majority, you need to focus on John the Baptist. If we witness one by one, it takes a long time. Through Father already made incredible victory, and already he paid the price. He already completely paid the 8-stage level of the indemnity. That's why now, based on his foundation, we need to inherit his foundation. We need to witness John the Baptist. If we find John the Baptist and restore John the Baptist, and his foundation belongs to us. That's why, to secure majority, important issue is how to restore, okay, John the Baptist, how to restore our ambassador for peace. Let them really become the core members. This is our job from now on. And then let's study further so based on the national restoration.
For 6,000 years of history, God has been following countless nations, longing for and seeking one country that could be established as the heavenly nation on this earth. God has been searching to find heaven's loyal subjects and virtuous men and women. We must reorganize families, peoples, and nations with God as their center. Let us not forget that we have been called to bring about the day of liberation, the restoration of our homeland. The mission of religious people has been the creation of a homeland, but they often still maintain the selfish desire for personal salvation.
Yeah. For 6,000 years of history, God has been following countless nations, longing for and seeking one country that could be established as the heavenly nation on this earth. God's wish is to ultimately seek and establish an ideal nation on this earth through ideal families. Therefore, the thing we cannot forget for even a moment is that we have been called to bring about the day of liberation, the restoration of our homeland, which is God's nation. There are hardly any people who know that the creation of the homeland is the mission of the religious people. Everyone just strives to receive personal salvation. That is the problem. That's why we are left in all religious people and church need to know that what is their mission in order to restore God's homeland, which is a substantial kingdom of heaven on earth. And God's plan for salvation, total salvation here means salvation for the sake of the world, salvation of all people, total salvation. The goal of the providence of restoration is to save everyone. No one should remain in hell. Okay? Nobody is left behind. Then finally, we can create one family under God. I really love the concept of the total salvation. Because God is the parent, we are children of God. God never miss any even single child. He wants to save everybody, no matter how much you are evil guy. God is a parent of all mankind, not just only selected people, not just only chosen people, okay? You believe in Jesus and enter the kingdom of heaven. Do not believe in Jesus and go to the hell. God's concept of salvation is not like that. His concept of the salvation is what? Total salvation. So why God choose me as a chosen guy? Because ask me to help his salvation. That's why let's enter kingdom of heaven together. Not just only me, not just only individual level, not just only my family, not just only tribal level. Let all mankind enter kingdom of heaven. That's why Messiah need to come to the world, to save the world. We need to understand God loves the world so much. That's why he sent the Messiah, not just only for nation, not just only for individual and family. He loves the world, to save the whole world. That's why we need to understand total salvation. When I think about total salvation, I always think mission of the America. How to help total salvation? How can America help entire all mankind? When I read the Father's word about when he talking about America, continuously talking about need to help all mankind, need to help about younger brothers and sisters nation. America do not have war and all mankind surely perish. How much he repeat again and again and again and again. That's why I really want to send missionary to the world through the training of the GPA member in the future. We need to send everywhere. This is the mission of the America. We need to save the world. That's why I really appreciate sub-region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each sub-region now giving some donation. Which nation is a potential, Central America and South America, Africa, even Europe and Asia 1 and 2. I really appreciate all sub-regional leaders, your great effort to sending money monthly. This is not easy. The America financial situation not easy, but I told them, at least we have taken a small condition. America never perish as an elder son nation. That's why, my brothers and sisters, our job is not just only for America. America need to exist for the sake of the world, for the sake of the total salvation. Next.
The purpose of the providence of salvation and of religion is to save the entire world. Since God created humankind as his beloved children, he cannot just beat and kill them and leave them in hell. Therefore, the goal of the providence of salvation is to save everyone, not leaving even a single person in the satanic world. God wants to take back every kind of human being.
Yeah. The purpose of the providence of salvation and of the religion is to save entire world. Also, not only saving the entire world, but also saving all the spirits of those who already died, without leaving behind even a single person. God does not just save the chosen people. The reason God chooses and calls people is because he wants to save the whole through those chosen central figures. In that sense, the reason we today were given a mission from God is because God seeks to save the whole through us. Why God called me? Why God called you? The main reason, to save the whole, to save all mankind. That's why blessing means you need to multiply, need to convey to your neighbor and tribe and nation and world. That is our job. That is our mission, my brothers and sisters. Because of this, the goal of the providence of salvation to save everyone, not leaving even a single person in the satanic world. In a word, it is total salvation. Since God is the parent of humankind, he cannot leave behind even one soul. Really, our true Father is very clearly explained about total salvation. That's why when I hear that kind of Father's word, my heart is really connected to the whole world. How to save Africa, how to save the communism, how to save the entire humankind. So if we have the concept of total salvation, your heart automatically try to embrace entire world, and your heart become more wider and wider, more deeper and deeper. You can embrace any boundary, any colors, any religion, because you already know God's concept of the salvation is total salvation. We are children of God. How much our true paradise concept is such beautiful, as the Messiah tried to embrace all mankind, right? How much lucky people we are. We have that kind of the concept of same as our true parents. Today's youth ministry, the 4 things emphasized in the 평화 훈경. Let's study.
Man at the crossroads of good and evil, and spirit and body. If you look at the words of the Old and New Testaments, many of them are parables. However, True Father's words have been handed down to us as they are, without symbols or metaphors. There's a high possibility that the words of the Bible, which are written in secret, will conflict according to each individual's interpretation. Because each human being has both fallen nature and original nature, there is a risk of conflict if they have different viewpoints. If we do something wrong, our hearts suffer because of the conflicts caused by our flesh-centered lives. Therefore, we are always at the crossroads between good and evil, whether we are going on the path of death or the path of eternal life. Married couples are also at the crossroads of whether they become one with each other and become a couple of eternal life, or collide and become a couple of death. So, since we are always at a crossroads, we must clarify the order of subject and object. Ignoring traffic lights at intersections can lead to accidents, so you must always follow the traffic lights when moving.
Yeah. Because each human being has a both fallen nature and original nature, there is a risk of conflict if they have a different viewpoint. Since much of the content of the Old Testament and New Testament are in symbols or metaphors, depending on their interpretations, our opinions differ from one another and conflicts arise. There are more than 400 denominations in Christian church. Can you imagine about that? Because of the different interpretations. But the thing we need to grateful for today is that true parents have spoken about God's truth very clearly and without symbols or metaphors in a way that anyone can understand. Therefore, if everyone studies and practices true parents' words, there can be no way we have conflicts. Also, even though we know the principle and words, if we easily make a mistake and live a flesh-centered lives, we can cause conflicts of the mind and body. Never forget that we are always at the crossroads between good and evil. At the crossroads on whether we are going on the path of death of the path of eternal life, that choice is only human beings' portion of responsibility. Married couples are also at the crossroads of the whether they become one with each other and become a couple of eternal life or collide and become a couple of death. You know, for us fallen people who are at the crossroad to avoid accident, we need to follow the traffic lights carefully. If we ignore traffic light, accidents are sure to happen. Since human beings are at the crossroad of the good and evil and spirit and body, we must live clarifying the order of the subject and object. My brothers and sisters, the order of the subject object is very important. First of all, you need to realize you are not the subject. Okay? God is the subject. I am the object partner. This matter have to be very clear. If you put as the subject, then conflict, and there are a lot of problems. The order of the subject and object, very, very, very important. God is a creator. I am the object partner. True parent is subject, and then I are object. What the fall? Subject become object, object becomes subject, right? This is the problem. Archangel should be the object position, need to serve Adam and Eve. Why he tried to become the subject? That is the problems. That's why always we need to keep the position of the object. That is the secure way. Very stable then. If I always stand at the object position, okay, object partner position, become very stable, and everybody is my able, everybody my subject. My job is just serving and loving and attending. Then everything going on very smooth. Fallen world, everybody try to be subject. Oh, my wife, you need to serve me. My husband need to love me, okay? And the parents order to children, okay, I am your parents, I am your leader, you need to serve me, you need to respect me. Everybody try to be a subject position. The order of the subject and object, that is the issue. You need to know very clearly. Otherwise, really the conflict and the serious issue always arise everywhere. The body, which is the object partner, must absolutely live centered on mind. And our mind must live on orderly life centered on spirit, right? And then spirit become object, body become subject. That is the fall. And all human beings themselves are not the subject partner, but we absolutely need to live centered on God. And then God now becomes secondary. God is not top priority. If the order is upside down, then individually become very confused. Your family become very confused. The society and nation, the whole world become confused because the order is different. The order of the subject and object is different. That's the problem. That's why we need to have a very clear order. Subject is a subject, and object is an object. God is a subject. I am the object. My mind have to be subject. My body have to become object. Right? If this matter is very clear, everything becomes stable. Fall means completely become opposite situation. Next.
The four things emphasized in the Pyonghwa Hungyang. The first thing that is emphasized in the Pyonghwa Hungyang is that while we are in the physical body, our spirit selves should bear fruits well. The second is to never forget God's Han. Thirdly, each of us is taught to establish a good relationship based on the Trinity and to fulfill our responsibilities well. Fourth, never have conflicts at crossroads where you can collide with each other, but build good human relations to pass through well. Only then will our spirit selves bear fruit well. So we must never forget these four things in our lives. Why is that? Because we are the ones who made God bear Han. We are descendants of the fall. That's why we easily act one-sidedly and break down the basic relationship based on the Trinity. When we assert ourselves, all human relationships are cut off. There's no one who is not cut off when asserting himself and being self-centered.
Yes. I'd like to explain again the four things emphasized in the Pyonghwa Hungyang, okay? While we are in the physical body, bear fruits in our spirit selves well. Very much emphasized in Pyonghwa Hungyang, okay? Our physical body. While we are in the physical body, bear fruit in our spirit selves well. Never forget God's sorrowful hand and caused by human fall. Why human being commit sin again and again and again? Because we never understand God's sorrowful hand, his bitter hand. That is the issue. Why true Father never give up and continuously keep going? Because he the one who truly understands God's sorrowful heart, God's bitter hand. That's why, whenever we suffer any problem, any issues, we need to think God's sorrowful heart and God's bitter hand. In our given position, establish a good relationship based on Trinity and to fulfill our responsibilities very well. Never have a conflict at the crossroad where you can collide with each other, but build good human relation to pass through the well. Because we are descendants of the fall who made God bear hand, have a blood of the fallen nature that can make us conflict with each other. We are the descendant of the fall. Our blood lineage easily betray, easily become self-centered, easily become emotion. You know, we need to know that we are the one who made God pay a hand. That's why we need to be really serious. So do not act one-sidedly and self-centeredly. You know, always self-centered. This is the issue. If we act one-sidedly, we break down the basic relationship based on Trinity. You already know that I've already explained many times what the Trinity in my family. My grandparents and parents and children, this is my Trinity. That's why you need to build good relationship, centering on basic Trinity at your home, with your parents, with your spouse, with your children. This basic Trinity. If you do not create basic Trinity unity, how can you build good relationship with your brothers and sisters in your working place in any way? It is impossible. That's why really we need to understand how to build really beautiful and basic about Trinity relationship in our family. When we assert ourselves, all human beings are corrupt. You know, fall means what? Assert yourself. Okay? Eve asserted his own opinion, Adam asserted his own opinion, and the archangel asserted his own opinion. That's the fall. Everybody asserted yourselves. Then our relationship completely, break down. And whether in the family or society, know that harmony is basically the centered on that. So let's study one more slide.
The stability of life of faith and the foothold of the heart. In order to create a foundation of heart for our life of faith to be stable, we must establish the Trinity. The Trinity at home is my parents, my spouse, and my children. The fall is the rupture of this Trinity. Satan has severed this relationship with the Trinity. In this relationship based on the Trinity, when each asserts itself, the relationship is severed. Selfish individualism cuts all ties between parents and children, husband and wife, and siblings. If that happens, you will go to the path of death. Severing the relationship of the Trinity is like severing the lifeline. Satan is thoroughly individualistic. If you establish a marital relationship centering on such individualism, you and your spouse will have no choice but to be impulsive every day. Husband and wife should be filial to each other as they are to God, but they are not. Everyone says they want to be respected and loved first, but they don't respect and love others first.
Thank you, Heavenly Honey. In order for our life of faith is to be stable, we must establish the Trinity. The Trinity at home is my parents, my spouse, and my children. The fall is the rupture of this Trinity. The restoration of the human being's original nature is the way to restoring this Trinity. That's why in your family, your relationship with your parents is really, really, really important. And also, your relationship with your spouse is incredibly important. Furthermore, your relationship with your children is basic. Anyone do not respect their own father and mother, you cannot build up good relationship with your spouse. You cannot build up good relationship with your children as well. That's why we really need to restore this Trinity relationship. Adam and Eve really could not do that. But we need to restore the relationship of the Trinity. Due to the fall, human beings form the Trinity centered on Satan. In the Trinity centered on Satan, envy, jealousy, conflicts, fight, selfish heart, and then fornication always becomes the center. In this relations based on Trinity, when each other asserts itself, the relationship is severed. Selfish individualism cuts all ties between parents, children, husband and wife, and siblings. If that happens, you will go to the path of death. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Trinity. Severing the relationship of Trinity is like severing the lifeline. Therefore, our relationship with God is our lifeline. If the lifeline with God is cut off, Satan enters that center immediately. Why Satan always invade me? Because your lifeline with God is really, you already lost. As long as you lost the relationship with God, the lifeline, Satan immediately enter to your mind. Satan thoroughly individualistic. If you establish a marital relationship centered on such individualism, you and your spouse will inevitably clash every day. Husband and wife should be filial to each other as they are to God, but they are not. Everyone says that they want to be respected and loved first, but they don't respect and love others first. My brothers and sisters, today I talk about the 4 things emphasized in the Yong. That is a common point we need to understand very clearly. Thank you very much. God bless you, my dear brothers and sisters.
Thank you, Dr. Yong. It's day 900 and morning devotion just keeps getting better. I'm so excited for each and every day. I feel like you're always speaking to me. I really enjoyed just resonate with the point on the importance of maintaining the order of subject and object. And also, of course, understanding God's heart through the idea and concept of total salvation. With that, we're going to go into our living testimony. And I know they're the famous couple from Alaska, but let me just make sure that I'm introducing them correctly. Okay. Yes. So there is a program happening this summer that's been happening almost every summer now. And it's the National Ocean Challenge program. And sharing on it, I'd like to invite up directors Lucas and Tasna Bursey.
Good morning, Dr. Yong.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tajna! Lucas! So beautiful. Wow, I'm so exciting. We will go to Las Vegas soon. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you in Las Vegas.
Yay.
Good morning. We're grateful to be able to share together this morning. In preparation for Ocean Challenge this summer, we wanted to share some lessons we've learned and hopefully inspire some of you to join us up here in Kodiak, Alaska. And Tasna will get us started.
Okay, thanks, Lucas. Good morning. So anyway, just wanted to share some reflections, some lessons that we've learned living up here. And the special grace ceremony or condition has been bringing up a lot in my own life. I feel like ever since it started, my whole spirit world's been a little bit riled up, especially when it comes to the relationship between parents and children, and like the reminder that only when things come to the surface can you heal them and can you work through them. And I think I've found myself particularly challenged to connect to grace and to forgiveness for myself and for my ancestors. So I've been spending a lot of time at the ocean, and I think it's a place that Mother came a lot. I really resonate with how she loves the ocean and the lessons and the truths that she's found there. I think she's learned a lot about God's motherly heart through her time on the water and has drawn a lot of strength from it. The heart to embrace others and find energy to keep on moving. And, we live in Kodiak, and so the ocean is all around us. And I think it has taught me over and over again a little more and more deeply about God's heart, especially God's motherly heart. And so I think one of the main lessons I've learned is how the ocean embraces everything. It's the lowest place, and all rivers lead to the ocean, and where all the waters of the world are accepted and embraced. And the ocean embraces everything, whether it's hard or soft, big or small, clean or dirty. And I feel like I'm reminded over and over again that God's heart is the same, right? It embraces the good things, the beautiful things, the things we're not proud of, the guilt, the hurt, the joy, the things that we're most proud of in our lives. And so many times God has met me at my highest and my proudest moments and embraced me over and over at my lowest. And, each of those moments, whether it's high or low, experiencing that God's love is equal, like God's love isn't less when I'm struggling, and it's not more when I'm not. And I've also learned that the ocean is unconditional and it's never ending. When you stand at the edge of the sea, the waves crash and they crash again and again and again, and you can't hold them back. You can't stop them from coming. And I feel like it's this constant daily reminder that God's love is always reaching out, like always. Even, Kodiak's coastline is really rugged and rocky, and even the hardest rock faces, they break down over time under the consistent, unceasing embrace of the ocean. And I feel like, in the same way I was standing at the edge of the water yesterday, and I'm reminded, like, in the midst of everything that I feel like I'm going through, like, God's like, I'm here, I'm always here, I'm reaching out. And with it comes my love and my forgiveness and my embrace. Whether you can let it in right now or not, it's there. And so when I think of Mother's heart and what she embodies is this embrace, and it's this unconditional love. And, being a mom isn't easy, and to be embracing and unconditional requires an incredible strength, on her part to embrace and to give and to absorb all the hurt and the pain of this world, and to have the strength to transform it into love and hope and joy. And, it's not a weakness, right? But it's driven by this incredible strength, like the ocean. And I think that's one of the reasons Mother loves the sea. And so, yeah, I feel like in my own life these days, it seems like I'm asked to go deeper, to connect to God and Mother's heart of love and embrace, not just for my own journey and shortcomings, but to forgive and embrace and love those also who've gone ahead of me, my ancestors, people in my lineage, and reflecting on how they didn't experience that love in their lifetime, like a relationship with God the way that God had hoped they would, a relationship with their spouse and their children in the way that God had hoped they would. And so I'm realizing over and over, like, that my own journey of motherhood or being married and being a part of a family is to process and work to bring Mother's grace and love and forgiveness, not just to my own life, but also to my ancestors. And so, yeah, I feel like, this is just a little snippet of what I've been learning. I've been living in this little town by the edge of the sea. And so Lucas and I are really excited to co-direct Ocean Challenge again this summer, and to see what lessons are in store out there on the ocean.
Yeah, the ocean has taught me about patience and trust. We own a sport fishing charter business, and I get to take people fishing every day of the summer. One of the prized species here in Alaska is halibut, and there have been times, only a couple, where we would be fishing for halibut, and hours would go by without catching a single one. And it raises a lot of emotions like self-doubt and fear. It can make me feel like I made some wrong decisions. I came to the wrong spot. It's the wrong time to be here. But I've learned to catch myself in those moments and not let those feelings overwhelm me. I have to remember that every moment of my life, I'm making the best possible decision with the information that I have. And sometimes all it takes is a little patience to step back. Okay, I made these decisions. It led me to where I am. Maybe there's a small adjustment I can make to get the fish a little more excited, a little more hungry. Or sometimes I just have to be patient and trust that the fish are there. And time again, the halibut have shown up. Sometimes I think the fish are staring right at my hook, just waiting for my attitude to improve before they bite. And other times I think maybe I just anchored my boat in the completely wrong area. But like God searching for his children, these fish are searching for me. And I'm able to sit around long enough. If I can have enough patience, then maybe that fish will have enough time to find my hook. There's a lot to learn from the ocean. This is just a glimpse into our recent reflections. We look forward and invite any and all young people to come up and experience God's love through nature.
I think it's a really incredible opportunity to connect to True Parents' legacy here. For young adults especially, like, the busy time in life, and often a lot of big questions and crossroads, after GPA or CARP or college, or just feeling like you need a fresh start. And I think it's a priceless experience to give yourself the gift of 3 weeks up here out on the water. It's a pristine, untouched, beautiful place, and a place that your parents came to find a lot of answers and to seek clarity and look inward and make goals. And I really love, in Mother's Memoir, she shares about how when people came to Kodiak, they didn't lecture, but instead they just sent them out into the ocean to see what God had to teach. And so we invite you to come. Ocean Challenge registration's open. We're about halfway full. So oceanchallenge.org, check it out. And we also, pastors or communities encourage you to think about sponsoring one of your young adults to come and to experience a summer up here and to come back and share those lessons. We also have ways of sponsoring participants to come. So really grateful for this chance to share this morning, and hope everyone has a lovely day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucas and Tasana. Tasana, your baby growing very well?
Yeah, she's so big. I can't wait
my
to see her.
goodness. I really appreciate the Hans Moya raising our Tasana so well, and the Lucas. I really incredibly, really, I would say, admire, because you're such a patient and then serving people. Tasana, when can you become the mayor in Kodiak? I'm really praying for you.
The position's available.
Yeah.
Things are moving.
Well, one thing I really, my heart already jumping when I think about the Alaska fishing. I think this time we can bring the major, large community leaders to be there. So we have a plan. One thing I really learned from Father, that fish by to Johnson. Fish by to those who are patient. This is really great lesson. So I can see our Lucas, how much he is patient. Really, you learn through the ocean providence. I hope many our second generation bless family and go to Kodiak and learn the Alaska spirit from our true parents. Thank you so much, Lucas and Tasana. God bless you. Please take care of your baby very well. I hope another one. I'm waiting for that. Thank you.
Thanks, Archie.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Taz and Lucas, for sharing with us just your insights from Ocean Challenge. I was expecting the video, actually, because it was pretty good on the website. Yeah, sign up for Ocean Challenge, oceanchallenge.com, happening this summer. Okay, with that, we're going to go on to our reflection section, our discussion section. So just take a moment to think about what you gained from today's morning devotion, living testimony, and share with whoever you're paired up with in your breakout. We'll see you all soon. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful sharing in your breakout. I see Hanmi smiling. Okay, well, first off to share, I'd like to invite up Hans Moyer at Hans Moyer in my breakout. If you please unmute and share.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
It was so nice to see my son-in-law and my daughter getting up early in the morning in Kodiak to greet all of us, and I'm just really blown away by who they are and what they're doing. And
You raise up the Tasana very, very well. Thank you, Hans Moyer.
well, I have to acknowledge my wife. She's more of a behind-the-scenes person, but she is a real force in our family, and her love is guiding me every day. So I really appreciate her very, very much.
Thank you, Uncle Hans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call on Reverend Beryl Green. If you could please unmute and share with us your reflection as well. You have to unmute, Sister Green. Okay, we're going once, going twice. Okay, she just jumped out of the Zoom room. Okay, actually, next, let me see here. Can I ask Hanmi Bowman to share with us her reflection?
Oh, I've been caught this morning. All right.
Hey, yeah, well, Hanmi's there.
Good morning, Dr. Yong. It's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, are you baby was there?
Oh, both of them are. They woke us up this morning.
Baby, no more class now.
Oh, he does, but we took them off. Reflections. We all have them. Oh my goodness, there was a lot to cover, Dr. Yong, especially about family. And we'll probably never get to it. Actually, I was in a room with Auntie Rico. We were talking about how, as we're all a family, right? And we all have to work really. She's like, you blessed children are so different from us. I'm like, not really. You know, I mean, if the Pyongyang's real, you shouldn't self-assert yourself, and all of us as parents, children, and grandchildren should get along, right? I told you, you know, I told my mom thought she was really different from me because she had more fallen nature and she felt really bad. And I said, you know, Mom, and I told you know what I told my mother, Dr. Yong? I said, look, if you think you're not going to make it to heaven and you really think I'm better than you, I'll just drag you to heaven. Okay, so don't worry. You can go kicking and screaming. I'll just drag you there. It's all right, Mom. And that's the kind of heart that we should have as children, especially as second generation. Our parents, they struggle. Okay, guys. And I realized that too, but when I talk to my mom and my dad, they really are struggling, but they're still here. So I'm glad I could be that person for my parents. And you did not disappoint with the Pyongyang and those 4 points. Those are really important. I thank you for that, Dr. Yong.
Thank you so much. How about Wonjin?
Let's see if Wonjin was paying attention. Have fun.
I love Dr. Yong. I love morning devotion.
Yeah.
Come on, Wonjin.
All right, you're that a lot in the great gratitude points, so I have to repeat it on a regular basis.
Come on.
All right. I learned that, you know, it's all about complete salvation. You're never supposed to leave anyone behind. That's not how God truly is. God wants to save every single one person.
That's you.
And never leave anyone behind. So even if basically like we feel like some of our brothers and sisters have fallen off, God's still going to go and make efforts to try to save everyone.
Sure.
And we should all have that motivation to basically help or basically be in that place where you can love them, receive them, but they also have their own responsibility to make their way back. But that doesn't mean you have to make it harder for them to come back. You should probably hug them, invite them, and basically embrace them whenever they do come back, because it's a very difficult time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wonjin and Hanmi. God bless you. Thank you, our two beautiful children. 감사합니다.
Yep. Thank you, Wanjing and Hanmi, for being willing volunteers every time. Okay, so we're going to go on to our announcements. If you are feeling inspired, if you feel like the message, the word should be shared, please invite people to join in on this morning devotion experience. The website is edu.familyfed.org. That's where everything morning devotion, all 900 days, well, there are a few that we're taking down, but most of them are on there for you to look at the transcripts and PowerPoint presentations as well. And also, if you would like to support morning devotion monetarily, you can donate by clicking the link in the chat. If you're on the Zoom room, if you're online, just click the link in the description of the video. Proceeds goes towards supporting the production of morning devotion. And finally, or not finally, if you would like to offer a song or the opening prayer, just email us at TZORER. That's talzor at unification.org. Okay. So with that, today is also day 900. That's right. Today is day 900 of morning devotion. And we have, I believe, a cake. Dr. Yong is holding a cake right now. President Alkimi is making a cameo, I see as well. So all together, we're going to be singing our traditional, our go-to song in celebration of day 900 of morning devotion. So let's sing all together. To us, happy 900 days to us. Happy 900 days, morning devotion. Happy 900 days to us. Congratulations, Dr. Yong. Happy 900 days. Please.
Thank you.
Please make a wish and blow out the candle. Woo!
Oh, my brothers and sisters.
Day 900. Day 900. That's 900 days of Jeonsang. 900 days. I don't know if I've ever done anything consistently for 900 days besides living. But hopefully someday, Dr. Young, I hope to be able to be as resolute as you are. Thank you so much for the past 900 days. I'm not sure if President Naokimi would like to say anything. I see his camera on as well. Go ahead, Naokimi.
Just I put in the chat, but congratulations, Dr. Yong, for your devotion. I really appreciate you really establishing this kind of spiritual foundation for America and beyond. And for all the members here, for your Jeonsang as well, really representing America and offering your time, your spirit, your energy and devotion every morning for the past 900 days. So I just wanted to thank you and congratulate you all.
Thank you, President.
And please make a donation.
The link will be in the chat. If Tal, you can put it in there.
And also, Fred.
Yes.
I think we really, of course, many staff, translator, interpreter work so hard, but I especially thanks to our Dr. Kylie's couple, incredible sacrifice. I do not know how to appreciate them. Really, Dr. Kylie and Maria, their hard work, even though really they are not easy condition, but they put so much effort. Jeonsang, my dear brothers and sisters, please really encourage him, and become more strong. I really appreciate once again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Young. And thank you to all the staff who make morning devotion possible. There's so many people behind the scenes making this happen. So thank you. And also, yes, so next thing we'll look forward to is day 1000, which will be in 100 days, which is still this year. So we have another major celebration waiting us this year. And finally, today is technically not my rotation. Rebecca is okay. She's okay. Actually, a window pane hit her in the head. That's the reason why she wasn't able to be on. But also she moved to LA. She flew back to LA. That's also why the timing just didn't work. But today is her last day. And tomorrow, we're going to welcome up Yasutaka Ozawa. Yasutaka is going to come back as MC tomorrow. And with that, we're going to go into our musical offering. And he's the guy with the bird on his shoulder quite often. So you may recognize that from that description. Let's welcome up Chris Bihari.
Good morning, Dr. Yong. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, Bihari.
I really wanted to prepare another song, but this morning my feeling is really upset. But I sing a very short song, and it's in the harmony of everything that we have talked about today. 우리의 사랑은 그네라 사랑은 당일 이 목숨 바쳐서 당일이여 이별 사랑은 당일 이 나라 자는데 당일이 오소
일이 오라. Thank you, Chris Bihari. 감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Chris. It's a classic song. Thank you for closing us out with, our typical closing song. Thank you. And with that, we're going to go on to our closing prayer. And I'd like to invite up Chris Perkins. Chris Perkins, if you could please close out in prayer.
Okay, please join me in prayer. Good morning, our beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents. What an amazing time we are living in, and so blessed to receive so much grace from you and from our beloved true parents, both in heaven and on earth. And so especially blessed by the presence of so many brothers and sisters, each one who has their own story of trials and tribulations and journeys which have brought everyone to this place and this time now. And how we are facing such a great opportunity now to make a difference, each of us in our own way, to the big picture of bringing this world back from a very dark place to becoming the shining and glorious representation of your ideal. We are so thankful, Father, that we can gather each morning and open our hearts and invite you into our lives. And we look forward each day to the way that we can walk those lives and share the love that you have so freely and abundantly poured into us with others that we meet. Please allow us to be those vessels of joy and enlightenment to others, that we can truly lift, especially this country of America, to fulfill its God-given role and really become a force for goodness in this world. Thank you, Heavenly Parent. We want to offer this day and this morning devotion to you with deeply grateful hearts. In our names, Chris and Diana Perkins, bless Central Family.
아주 thank you so much, Chris Perkins, for beautiful prayer. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's right. It's another Chris. Thank you for closing us out in prayer. And with that, that about wraps up today's morning devotion. Thank you all for joining us. Day 900. Thank you, Dr. Yong, for all that you do. And we'll see you all tomorrow once again.
Okay, have a nice day,
Bye,
my
everyone.
brothers and sisters.